Hey guys, how's it going? I hope everyone is doing well when they tune in and see this day or night. So this is going to be a general reading for Earth sign Taurus, the bull. All right, so it is going to cover anything like love, work, friends, family, health, etc., money, and all forms of abundance as well. It is also a timeless reading, meaning it can resonate for you as an example, 6 months in the past or 6 months into the future. Less than that, it can be a couple of months, it can be weeks, it can be days, hours, etc. Okay, so always take it how it resonates for you if it does. And this reading, since we all have all 12 zodiac signs through each individual birth charts for each individual person, right? So I have Taurus somewhere in my chart, even though I'm not a sun sign Taurus or rising Taurus, or have moon in my Taurus, or have my moon in Taurus, or even I don't have Venus in Taurus, but there is still always going to be a message about the Taurus energy somewhere in your chart, and you may have some message here for you as well with that Taurus energy. So all are welcome. All right, so we're going to get into your reading here in just a moment. I've pulled all of your cards ahead of time here, Taurus, and also wanted to say that if you're new, welcome, and even if you're not new, welcome back. All right, everybody is important, and I do appreciate your energy and your views and everything. So what else? Yes, I also take a photo always at the end, one photo of all the cards here that I will be posting after the live is done. So if you want to take a look at that photo and see the cards more up close in detail, or just have it on hand for later, all you have to do is click in the description box below and follow the instructions there on how to get to my Facebook, where I'll be posting the photo. All right, so yes, let's go ahead and get into your reading here. We also are going to do a quick little sound bell for myself and for you guys, just to ground us for the reading and some general healing. All right, so it does get a little loud sometimes, so just be aware in case that's something that might affect you. Okay, so if you want to, you can take a deep breath in and out whenever, or you can just listen as well. All right. All right, Taurus. Sorry for that. If you heard the commercial in the background, I usually keep some music on just for my dogs, so they don't make too much noise. And it just happened to come on a commercial at the end of the sound bell there, so sorry about that. Hopefully it wasn't too loud for you. So yes, I also wanted to go ahead and say, because I already put it in the title here, but Taurus, dear Taurus, you have 7 major arcanas that showed up here in your reading. So that does speak of a significant amount of change coming up for you, or that already kind of maybe started to happen. Like I said, it could be a couple of days ago, weeks, months, years, etc. for people, since it is a general reading for more than one person, right? So let's go ahead and call out your cards here in the center is where we're going to start, and then we'll go outwards towards your tarot confirmation cards that I use another deck for, and then we also talk about what's on the top and the bottom of each deck to get even more insight, and then at the very end we have a couple of oracle cards here for you as well. All right, so we have the King of Sacred Circles in the reverse position, also known as the King of Pentacles reverse. We have the Judgment card in the right side up position. We have the Sun in the reverse position. We have the Five of Staves in the reverse position, also known as Five of Wands in the reverse. We have Princess of Swords right side up. We have the Temperance card right side up. We have the Queen of Staves right side up. We have the Death card in the reverse position, and we also have the Devil card in the right side up position. Okay, so for a moment, let's speak about those 7 major arcanas and their corresponding zodiac signs that we see here in your reading in case that is of interest to you. Sometimes it can be about one particular person or sign that you're dealing with, or it can be about multiple people, multiple signs. It could be about just you and one other person, and you have predominantly some of those charts really showing up a lot in your birth chart or their birth chart, or it means nothing at all, and it could have something to do with the general astrology for this time period or even the collective unconscious, okay? But with the magician here, we have a little bit of Sagittarius, Gemini energy. We also have Scorpio. We have 2 Leo cards, and it is a repeating card. I'll get into that later, okay? Then we also have, you showed up here in your own reading, 2 Taurus. So we have the Hierophant, right? We have the Temperance, Sagittarius energy again. We have the Death card, Scorpio energy again, and then we also have the Devil card, Capricorn energy. So again, you could be dealing with one of those signs or have that a lot in your chart, or it has in the other person's chart, or vice versa, right? Or have something to do with the general astrology or collective unconscious at this time, or it means nothing at all. But I wanted to, go ahead and call them out, in the beginning of the reading while I'm still thinking about it. Okay, so let me just count just one second here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, I just realized it's 8. It's 8 major arcanas because you have that one that's repeating, so that's why I didn't count it in my head before. All right, so again, a lot of changes going on here. All right, so let's go ahead and break down kind of how we're going to go about this reading and what each row kind of what may mean for you. Just be aware that the next set of readings, I will be starting the regular way through the zodiac. So I'll be starting with Aries and then Taurus and then going forward. Okay. It looks like my connection is unstable. Okay, I think it's back. Sorry, guys. It went away, so I'll just keep going. Everything is all right still. Okay, I'll just keep going. All right. Hopefully the internet will do its thing and not interrupt again. But yeah, I was saying you actually have 8 major arcanas instead of 7. It's not a big deal, right? But like I said, it was one was a repeating card, so I forgot to count the extra one. All right, so it does speak of a lot of change coming up or even have started previously in the past. But this first row that we're going to talk about is also energy from like February 18th to February 28th. So we are going a little bit back in the past, right? Depending on when you're watching this video, for that end of that week or week and a half or so of February. And then the second row going across here is energy from about March 1st through March 9th or so. Again, not exact. And then the last row is the week we're in now, right? So about from March 9th through March 18th or so. Again, not exact. Could go a little bit longer or shorter, okay? But when we talk about the energy, especially in the first row, it could be energy from the recent past, which will be different for everybody that's still kind of hanging out and trickling in and showing up in your reading, okay? So what is the recent past? Again, it could be a couple of days ago, hours, weeks, months, years, etc. All right, but when we start off with this King of Sacred Circles in the reverse position, or also known as King of Pentacles in the reverse position, this is a little bit of an energetic blockage or some stagnant energy that's really talking about somebody could be not feeling all the way in their power about something, could also be affecting their confidence in some way. Anytime you have a king or queen in reverse, that can be the case, right? It could also be, in particular with this deck and with this card, the King of Sacred Circles, it could be a little bit of this energy of a hesitancy to pass something on to the younger generation, or feeling like you have something pull enough to pass on to the younger generation. So this could be your energy here, Taurus, or energy of a person you're dealing with, or multiple people, or your general environment situation if it's not you. But that's why I always say to check out your other placements if you don't already know, right? So as an example, what's your sun, rising, moon sign? Because depending on what's going on in your life, you may resonate more with your moon sign or your sun sign or your rising sign. All right. And also check always your Venus for matters of love and higher forms of assets and money in particular. Okay. So when we also, when we go back to your first card, the King of Sacred Circles in reverse position, and here it is, just so you can see it if you're watching and not listening, right? But this is, like I said, if he was right side up, it's an older gentleman, right? Native American man here, almost a grandfather figure with the white hair, who is doing something with the drum. It's about oral traditions and passing something down to the younger generation. There is lightning in the background, which represents, excuse me, enlightenment, revelations, aha moments, that kind of thing, right? So it's in the background, in the distance, okay? So he's downloading that information and sharing it. But when it's in reverse, it's a little bit of a blockage there as far as feeling all the way in your power, the other person feeling in their power, affecting their confidence, affecting leadership roles, if there are any, or positions of authority in some way. So we'll get more into it as we go out through the reading, but this is where my spirit guides wanted me to talk to you about what's in the top and the bottom of your deck here in relation to your first card, the King of Sacred Circles in reverse. Now, this is energy from the way, way back past, okay, further back than the recent past, whatever that means for you. Okay, so what we have is the Five of Swords in the right side up position and the Magician in that reverse position. So this is basically saying in the way, way back past here, Taurus, somebody was focusing too much on the past and the future and not enough in the present moment with the Five of Swords. It could also be a very defensive energy. And when we talk about swords and they're going down, right, that talks about possible anxiety, worry, overthinking, being too much up in their head, either you or the other person or multiple people, general environment situation. And then with the Magician in the reverse position, just like the King of Sacred Circles in the reverse position, it's about feeling not all the way confident, right? Feeling like they can't manifest something in the way back past, and maybe it's happening again or triggering them again or triggering you again, right? Also could be feeling like, not only when I said in the beginning with the King of Sacred Circles right side up, if he's right side up, he's going to have those oral traditions and pass something on to the younger generation, okay? If he was right side up, he has all the tools that he needs. He has all the support he needs. He's a king, right? Just like the Magician when he's in reverse, okay? If he was right side up, he has all the tools that he needs, okay? He's also supported not by other people per se, but by the universe, right? He's a magician. So he has all of the minor arcana here on his table, the cups, the wands, the pentacles, and the sword, okay, right? But remember, he is reversed here. So there could have been this feeling here, Taurus, in the way back past that's somehow affecting the future here, or current energies from, the last week or so of February, where there was a lack of confidence, stressing out too much about the past and the future, and not focusing enough on the present moment, and having some type of anxiety, worry, overthinking, and also not feeling supported, whether it is by just the universe, your spirit guides, guardian angels, ancestors, past on loved ones, but also with the King of Sacred Circles here, could be your actual current physical support system, right? Friends, family, mental health care worker, etc. Okay, but let's keep going forward. I just wanted to tell you about that a little bit with that card there. Okay. Now moving forward, we have your second major arcana that's showing up here is the Judgment card in the right side up position, okay? So this speaks about somebody or some kind of energy, if it's not an actual person, again, if it's not you or the other person or multiple people you're dealing with, where you weighed and trying to find out the correct balance of something, okay? It's also about, do I want to resurrect something that I put down in the past? Is it good enough to bring back again to the future, to rebirth something, revisit something, relook at something, right? Reanalyze something. Okay, could be a lot of different things with different people. But here, the kind of shadow side of this card in this particular deck, because all cards have positive and negative, there could be a little bit of this information of if the judgment that went down here that we're talking about wasn't in your favor or the other person's favor or multiple people's favor, right? Depending on what the issue is or what you're looking at for this reading, there is that energy of kind of like a self-destructive energy too, with the girl at the top of the card punching the mirror. Okay, she's punching her own image. So taking out anger and frustrations about some kind of judgment that maybe went down or already went down or still going down, right? But just, don't like hurt yourself, or hopefully the other person won't hurt themselves, and multiple people, environment, okay? Because, if you only end up hurting yourself, literally. So it's like, and what does that do? Just makes things actually worse. So if you do find, that energy around, even if it's not you, best thing to do is ground yourself, right? Take care of yourself, eat the right foods, get enough sleep, have time for work, but also time to have play, and just do things that help get you back into reality and feel like you're stable on the ground. Like, that's why it's called grounding, right? Your feet on the ground. All right. So moving forward, though, I do feel like for the majority of you guys here, Taurus, that this judgment that we were just talking about, that perhaps it was either not in your favor, or if it was in your favor, it wasn't fully understood. It could be a lot of different things here, but I say that because your next card is the Sun in the reverse position. And it's not the end of the world anytime we have, first of all, not all reversals are bad, but if it is speaking of a more energetic blockage or a negative thing that needs to be looked at and identified and keep going, because none of these things are the end of the world type thing, right? You always have free will. These are just kind of the cards that Spirit chose to come out for this Taurus energy at this time. All right, but with the Sun in the reverse position here, this kind of speaks of an energetic blockage or stagnant energy. It could be about feeling a lack of creativity or passion for something. It could be feeling a lack of like a youthful, lighthearted energy. It could also be, when we talked, because it showed up in your first card too, that lightning, right, that I was saying normally represents your crown chakra, right? So having spiritual downloads, aha moments, I finally understand something, revelations, okay, all that stuff, okay? So the little tiny lightning that I'm talking about at the top of this card over here, okay, but it was in reverse, and so is the Sun. So the Sun normally, when it's right side up, would represent all those things I just mentioned: enlightenment, spiritual downloads, aha moments, I finally understand something, revelations, but it is in the reverse position. So if it's not about a lack of creativity or passion or lighthearted, youthful energy, then it could be that somebody is really denying or not wanting to understand or having a really hard time understanding something in reference to those things I just mentioned, okay? Now, this is actually card. You have the Sun card twice here, so you have it in the other deck as well. All right, so we'll talk about that real quickly, because this is where my spirit guys want to about what is on the top and the bottom of your other deck here too. Okay, so this is energy again from the way back past, whatever that means for you. So we have the King of Swords in the right side up position here on the top of your deck, and then you have the Sun in the right side up position on the bottom of your deck from the way back past. Okay, so it's really interesting, because remember, you have the King right side up here, King of Swords, but then back here you had the King of Sacred Circles. Even though it's not the King of Swords exactly, right, it still is another king, in that reverse position that we were talking about. And so that could definitely be like somebody is hesitant or not feeling confident all the way in their power. They're not feeling quite like a leader or themselves, even if you're not a leader or in a position of authority. But it looks like you're in the recent past with the Sun right side up. Somebody was feeling more confident, you know, taking this passion, this creativity, this youthful energy of the sun. And again, the sun is Leo energy. So you could be dealing with a Leo or have a lot of Leo in your chart, or they do, or multiple people do, or it's in the general environment situation, or it means nothing to you at all, right? Just wanted to mention it while we're on it, okay? But, you know, in the way we're back past, somebody had more mental clarity as well with the King of Swords, right? Because his sword is right side up. He's putting it back in his the sheath or whatever the sword thing is called, right? But normally you would see it right side up. So that would be the mental clarity, all right? And having more support in the past about something. And again, here in the more future, current present energies towards the end of February, maybe there was a lack of feeling support, a lack of mental clarity, and also this lighthearted energy, passion, creativity, and being open to spiritual downloads, revelations, aha moments. I finally understand something, all that. Okay. And just real quickly before we move on to, because you still have some really good cards here, so I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, right? But anytime there is a repeating card, even if they're not both in the same direction, right? This is a particular message from Spirit to pay even more closer attention, okay? Because there's usually 72 cards in each tarot deck, so that's 1 in 72 chances that it's going to come out again. I do a lot of shuffling and cutting of the deck, and even my big fish pond. If you've seen me before in the past where I used to shuffle on screen, you know that I do this, right? So this is a particular message from Spirit, okay? So even though one represents past energy here, right side up, and one is reversed in the more future current energies, it's still the same card, right? Showing again. So there's a particular message there, all right? Okay, so going forward, put that back up here since we just talked about it. We are going into the second row here now. Just making sure the music is there. Hold on 1 second. Yes, so we're going into that second row, which is energy around March 1st through March 9th. Again, not exactly, it could be a little bit before, a little bit after, right? But we follow the sun in the reverse position to now having the 5 of Staves in the reverse position, you know, and this, or also known as 5 of Wands, this is somebody could be, you know, really not in touch with their support system, the friends, family, mental health care worker, all that, whatever your support system is, or if it's not you, Taurus, the other person, multiple people, right? But somebody is not feeling the love, they're not feeling supported, they particularly also have this resistance to even let that support system in, okay? Even if they know that it's there, all right? So when this card shows up in the reverse position, it's like somebody is taking something a little bit too seriously. And if they did have their support system and this was right side up, right, it would have that more playful practice energy of like using a pencil and an eraser and not a pen, not having things stuck in stone, right? You see these 4 Egyptian architects here at the bottom, and these are, you know, this friends-like energy, okay, where they are all working together, and they're like, what if we put the new building over here that we're building, or what if we put it over there, or what if we try it here, what if we try it there? And so they're practicing, they're playing, but it's still serious, but not as serious, right? Because it's like having different options and plans for the future. But again, it came out in reverse here. So, you know, when it's following the sun in reverse too, it's like somebody is, you know, not accepting or blocking their support system. They still want to be really serious in something and not have different options, you know, options A, B, C, D, E, and F, etc., right? Because they maybe really have their heart set on something here, and they really are having this restrictive kind of stubborn energy with it about something here, okay? But you know, don't worry too much about it, because then your next card, your 5th card here in the center on the second row, we finally have the sun is now in the right side up position. It's not the sun card, it's the Princess of Swords, but it has the sun, okay, in the background. So yay, okay, like about time, all right, Taurus? So here now we have the Princess of Swords. She's a princess, right? She's learning new things. She's not a queen yet, all right? But she is meditating. She even has her hands in this kind of like prayer-like stance. And then we see water, okay, in the background as well. So she's learning to channel her emotions in a positive way with her logical mind, since it's a swords card and the swords in the tarot represent our logical mind, right? So she's trying to integrate her logical mind and possibly her heart chakra with the emotions and the water in the background and accept this youthful energy, this passion, this creativity, this enlightenment, spiritual downloads, aha moments. I finally understand something, revelations, all that. Okay, now she's accepting it. You're accepting it, Taurus, or the other person is, or multiple people, general environment situation. Okay, but it's so nice to see that here, especially after your first couple of cards. All right. Now going forward to your sixth card here, which is the Temperance card in the right side up position, and that is some of that Sagittarius energy I was talking about earlier, if that means something to you. But it is all about having patience, okay? It's slowing down and accepting the slower pace of something, okay? And here we see this Native American woman, 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on land. She's taking 2 bowls of water and moving them back and forth. So she could be doing that to pass the time, but she's also, maybe considering some kind of emotional thing and really going over the emotions in a really deep way and staying in that energy, right? Because she's taking water from one bowl and putting it back into the other, okay? So she's also about alchemy energy and balance and patience, okay? So she's balanced between the 3D physical world, the land, let's say, and then the water, the unconscious, 5D spiritual world, okay? So it looks like you here, Taurus, or the other person or multiple people, general environment, is accepting that youthful energy, the energy of the Princess of Swords, right? Of wanting to learn new things, working with the emotions, being patient about stuff, and accepting that slower pace, okay? So that's really nice to see. Now, moving forward, we get into your last row here, the third row. This is energy around March 9th through March 18th or so, right? We have a kind of another queen here, actually, and she is in the right side up position, okay? This is the Queen of Staves, or also known as the Queen of Wands, okay? So she has now fully mastered, okay? And this could speak of also to leveling up in some way. You go from princess to now a queen, okay? So it could be leveling up at work, with a job, romantic relationship, platonic relationship, with health, with money, whatever it is. Okay, it's the next stage or step of something. But she has mastered her emotions in the Nile River in the background of this Egyptian queen, okay, to channel it into something powerful and useful and worthwhile, right? She also has her eyes closed, okay? So when I think of this card and I think of somebody being able to close their eyes, I think of kind of going back to animals, right? When you talk about predator and prey, right? If she wasn't the queen and didn't have a lot of support around her with her maids and people helping her do stuff and what have you, right? Maybe she wouldn't close her eyes as much. Here is this meditative closing the eyes and taking a moment, right, to process something or take a mental break or what have you. But if she was not fully supported, even if, let's say, when I say fully supported, it doesn't mean, you know, because she's a queen or in a position of power, authority, or leadership role, or having money. It's more about that there's a lot of people around her that help her be that person, right? So if she didn't have all that supportive energy of the people around her, or again, just supportive energy, she wouldn't even be able to close her eyes, okay? So when we see this here, this could be more towards the middle of March that we're talking about, or even beyond into the rest of March, right? Of that really nice, someone stepping into their power too, someone leveling up in some way, but really mastering their emotions in a nice, positive way here. So everything, seems pretty good. And then, unfortunately, the energetic blockage again, or some stagnant energy here. And I'll tell you what I think it's about, okay? Because I was kind of meditating on it before I turned the camera on, okay? Because we go from the Queen of Staves in the right side of position to now the Death card in the reverse position. The Death card in the reverse position is very much like Sun in the reverse position, okay? Because the Death card doesn't mean someone's going to die or anything scary like that, right? When it's right side up, it's a dying of a phase. It's an ending. It's a new beginning, right? It's growth. It's a clearing of the way of the old stuff, clearing it out so new stuff can come in, right? So it's like, as an example, when you do spring cleaning, you clean out your closet of stuff that doesn't fit anymore, that you don't wear, and you donate it or give it away. And then if you want to get new stuff, then you have a space to hang it in, okay? Something like that. But it's in reverse. Also, the other thing to note too is when the Death card is right side up, there's the owl at the top, okay? So this represents wisdom, right? So here the wisdom is being accepted. We also have the water too, processing the emotions. But when it's in reverse, it's like all this positive stuff here, Taurus, that you were doing or the other person was doing or multiple people, general environment was doing, right? Is then it's like they don't trust it. Someone is not going ahead with the wisdom that was downloaded, right? The sun, remember, with the Princess of Swords finally showed up in the background. Then you had the Temperance card, okay? Then you had the Queen of Staves card, okay? All this positive stuff for momentum and progress. But then it's like somebody here is not trusting some type of wisdom, or there's a resistance again to change, because the Death card definitely represents change. And also, like I said in the beginning of the reading, you have 8 major arcanas here throughout, so it does speak of a lot of change. So it could be that you're not accepting, or the other person or most people, general environment, is not accepting certain changes, but they're accepting other ones, okay? Or it just kind of maybe something happens here that triggers you or the other person, where they're like, okay, this is just too much damn change too fast or something, because it seemed like when the energy was lower in the first week of March or so, it was more, you know, accepting and embracing. But then here, if it maybe was starting to pick up, somebody maybe possibly was having a hard time with that. And so that's why the Death card is in the reverse position here. All right. But you still have some other good cards. I wouldn't freak out too much. And everything always does, you know, happen for a reason, even if we don't understand it at that, you know, time. Usually later, you know, we'll have some wisdom around it, even if we think there's nothing, you know, that it's all just negative. There's usually still some kind of lesson learned, or yeah. So anyway, going forward, let's get into your last card here in the main center. This is your 9th card, okay? And this is some of that Capricorn energy that I mentioned at the beginning as well. So here we have the Devil in the right side up position. Okay, so what's to know about the Devil card? And again, it's not bad like the Death card, okay? It really talks about someone or some type of energy is too much in their animalistic side. In other decks, I can't remember which one I've used in other videos, right? You actually would see a wolf and a man in the forest sitting behind the wolf, okay? And so he's letting his wolf energy out too much, where he's not even recognizable, let's say, as a human, okay? So something is out of balance, right? And so here with the Devil card, it's the same thing, because I was talking about another Devil card just in a different deck. Okay, so here we talk about addictions. It also could be self-sabotaging energy for someone, because what's to note, if you look really, really closely, is that the loops on the chains on the neck of the people here are open. So it's a choice. Everything is always a choice, right? So being trapped, feeling chained, right, to these addictions or to the self-sabotaging energy, okay, it could be fixed, or the imbalance of the animalistic side and the human side, it can be fixed if it's just brought to attention, okay, or dealt with, right? It doesn't have to stay like that. And we all go through moments where stuff is out of balance, okay? We're always striving for balance, right? But it happens to all of us. And so it's just like, okay, let me, you know, rein it in. Let me take these chains off of my neck. Let me figure out what I can put more back into balance, okay? So Yes, I can't even talk anymore. Let us, sorry, been a long day. Let us go ahead now and get into your tarot confirmation cards again with the other deck, okay? So I'll go ahead and call them out in order, and then we'll go from there. Um, it's just really quiet. Okay. So we have the Hierophant. That is the Taurus card, the traditional Taurus card in the tarot. All right. So that's you. We'll talk about that in a second. And then we also have the Two of Cups in the right side up position. And then we have the Four of Wands in the reverse position and the Six of Swords in the right position. So what is to note is these first two tarot confirmation cards are usually energy from the recent past. That's how I read it. And then the last two here are more future, current, present energies. Okay. So these last two are usually something that, of course, can always be changed. Everything can always be changed. You always have free will, right? But let's go ahead and start with your first one here. This is that Taurus energy. That is you, right? Depending on where you have Taurus in your chart, of course, but this is the Hierophant. All right. This is the traditional Taurus card of the tarot, right? And so here we have this priest-like figure in the center and these two people at the bottom, like praying to him, asking for his help, his guidance, or not praying to him per se, but really needing his help or guidance. Okay, so the Hierophant speaks of teachers, priests, spiritual gurus, mentors, someone that is higher up in some way that is supposed to lead or guide others. Okay, that's the best way to say it, right? And so when we see this card here, Taurus, from the recent past, and since it is your card, it could be that in the recent past you were feeling more like yourself in certain ways, or you did take on a leadership role, or you were identifying with someone else who had a leadership role that was really helping you with something here. Okay, but it is in the positive position, and so that's really nice to see. Now, when this Hierophant card comes in here and is confirming the King of Sacred Circles in reverse, the Five of Staves in reverse, and also the Queen of Staves in the right side up position. All right, we could say that, for the last card, it was a catalyst card for sure, but we'll go in order here one by one. And for the first card that is confirming the King of Sacred Circles in reverse, is just basically saying here that if there was this energy around you, Taurus, if it wasn't yourself, that someone wasn't feeling confident, wasn't feeling all the way in their power about something, didn't feel like they had anything to pass down to someone, even if it's not a younger generation per se, but just maybe they weren't confident in their own gifts or their own skills, okay, in some way, or you weren't confident in your own skills in some way in that recent past energy, end of February, etc., right? But here with the Hierophant confirming it, it's like kind of telling you, that you are a natural leader, right? Taurus, you are a natural person that wants to guide others and help them in any way if you can. It's not that you do it for the status, right, as they say, but you really do it because you're a natural leader. Okay, so here, if that is you and you do have some type of leadership role or position of authority over others, and work or etc., right, at home, all those things, that you can get back that energy. You can reverse the King of Sacred Circles and then have it right side up. When you remember to step into your own power, you also remind others, I'm here to guide you if you are guiding others, but I'm not actually God. Remember when I had the slip up when we first pulled this card and I was like, oh, okay, they're praying to him. And I was like, no, that's not right. They're not praying to him. He is supposed to be, God's or the higher power, right? Secretary or their translator, right? They're not actually God. They're just representative of God that's supposed to be in connection with God, right? So even if you feel, and that's just an example, again, because of the priest, right? You don't necessarily have to be religious or whatever, but it's like, okay, if you don't want to be a leader or it puts too much pressure on you, just remind those people that you are guiding or helping or leading in some way, that you are just a representative, right? Or just the best that you can be, but you are not the be all end all, right? They also have to have their own relationship with God, their own relationship with themselves, their own whatever it is, you're talking about here. Okay. So let's keep going forward though. All right. So then when the Hierophant is confirming the Five of Staves in the reverse position, it's like, yes, if you're going to cut off your support system and you're going to keep remaining so serious, it's going to block your abundance. And abundance isn't just money, it's whatever you want to manifest in your life, right? So it can be definitely hard to ask for help at times, right? But even if it's not asking for help per se from your support system, your friends, family, mental health care worker, etc., it's like, I just want to hear you laugh. I just want to take my mind off of this shit for a second. I just want to, have it be a little bit lighter, whatever it is. It's not saying that you're necessarily needing their direct help with something if that's hard for you to say, or if there's not necessarily what you want either. You can just say that there's other forms of helping energy, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be that you need them to do something for you because you can't do it for yourself. That's not what we're saying here, right? We're just saying, just like when you help others or guide others, they can also help and guide you, but you're not going to think they're God, right? You're just like, okay, they're helping me out for a second to take a breather, what have you, okay? All right, well, let's keep going. Now, when this Hierophant is confirming the Queen of Staves or Queen of Wands, that is that complementary energy, right? It is the Hierophant right side up. It is a catalyst, right? This energy from the past here, Taurus, remember this is recent past with this card, impacted the future in such a positive way with finally the Queen of Staves in the right side up position. So finally someone is stepping into their power. They're channeling their emotions with the water in the background in a positive way, okay? They're feeling the support. They're accepting the support of energy or people or both, whatever it may be, so they can be that leader or just have more confidence in themselves and power, authority, or what am I trying to say? They're stepping into their own power, okay? That's what I was trying to get at, all right? Okay, so now let's get into your second confirmation card here. And this is also energy from the recent past. It's the Two of Cups in the right side up position. Okay, and this is really beautiful. This speaks of Taurus, that in the recent past, there could have been a partnership or even multiple partnerships, right? Could have been romantic, could have been platonic with friends and family, could have been a work partnership, creative partnership with different parts of yourself coming together, right? Whatever it is, it was really beautiful in the recent past. Each person or each energy was giving the same thing. They were both giving each other a cup, okay? And the cup is in the right side up position. The cups in the tarot talk about emotions, right? So the emotions were very clear. They were pretty positive. It was a divinely guided union or partnership with the lion and the angel in the background, Archangel Michael, right? And so this union, this partnership, whether it was just one partnership, multiple partnerships or unions, right? It came in here from the recent past, and it's confirming the Judgment card in the right side up position, the Princess of Swords in the right side up position, and the Death card in the reverse position here. Okay, so I would say that for two of these cards, it was not a catalyst, but for one of them, it was. All right. But we'll go one by one, right? So here with that Judgment card in the right side up position, where we were talking about something was being weighed and judged, and we were talking about morals and value systems and all of that stuff about saying, do I want to resurrect something, reanalyze something, revisit something, bring something up from the past, okay? If it was a judgment that didn't go in your favor, or you didn't understand, or the other person didn't understand, or it didn't go in their favor, to remember to watch out for those energies of maybe self-destructive energy, right? Because here with this Two of Cups confirming it, it's like there's some kind of union or partnership out there that wants to protect you, that wants to help you. So, again, like reach out to them in some way, or if it's not a person per se, call that energy into your life. Do some meditation, do some rituals about how to raise your vibration, or to work on certain chakras, or whatever it is, that might help you at this time. Or, even though this is energy from the Judgment card was in that first row in the last week or so of February, it could have also been further back, or even more in the first 2 weeks of March, right? It will be different for everybody, okay? But here then, when this Two of Cups is confirming also the Princess of Swords in the right side up position, this is when it's now a catalyst. This energy from the past was so good and so positive and for momentum and progress, that here it finally shows up with the Princess of Swords as someone who is open to learning new things. They want to integrate their heart chakra with their crown chakra, their head, their logical mind. They're working on their emotions. They're trying to be grateful and thankful and meditate and all that stuff, okay? And it could be that there was some type of union or partnership that reinforced this for you, or brought this out for you, or was a good role model for you, or whatever, right? But it was very beautiful energy, okay? Now here, when this Two of Cups is also confirming the Death card in the reverse position, this would be just saying that if there was that stagnant energy or energetic blockage in this week, or even still in this week or weekend, right, coming up, depending, right, since it goes to about the 18th or so, but it's not exact, right? But whatever, right? When you get to that Death card energy that's in the reverse position, where somebody's resisting some type of wisdom that they recently received in some way, maybe they don't want to trust it, that maybe there's too many changes happening too fast, or maybe there's something they still need to process with their emotions, right? Again, it's kind of saying, find those partnerships, find those unions that help you work through the emotions in a positive way, work through the changes that you're going through in a more complementary, empathetic, compassionate way, okay? All right, so now we're going to get into your last two confirmation cards, and these, again, are more future, current, present energies, right? So we start off with your third confirmation card being the Four of Wands in the reverse position here. This is like an energy of a celebration being put on hold, not being well received, or just straight up didn't happen, okay? And it is also this energy of the Four of Wands it's interesting because we just went from the Two of Cups in the right side up position to the Four of Wands in reverse. If the Four of Wands was right side up, it also speaks of unions, but more romantic unions for some, but not everybody. Again, it could be a work partnership, a union or partnership with friends or family, or even a union of different parts of yourself. But here, there's a blockage of that union, or something happens where a celebration around this union, or suddenly someone doesn't understand each other within a union here, or some kind of energetic blockage or stagnant energy, okay, when the Four of Wands is in the reverse position. All right, and it's coming in here, and it is confirming the Sun in reverse, the Temperance card right side up, and the Devil card right side up. So it's confirming all three of these major arcanas that we have here, okay? And we'll go one by one. But yeah, when this Four of Wands is in reverse, and it's confirming the Sun in the reverse position, this blockage, this other energetic blockage of not feeling passionate or creative or youthful, light-hearted energy around you, or not accepting the wisdom again around a spiritual download, a revelation, a aha moment, I finally understand something, right? It could be that the reason why there was that blockage was because some type of union wasn't where it used to be, perhaps, or both parties or both energies, okay, maybe it wasn't the right time for this celebration. It wasn't the right time for the youthful energy, the passion, the creativity, the spiritual downloads, enlightenments, aha moments. Maybe it just wasn't the right time, okay? So that's, something to think about, right? That is definitely something that can happen when we have some energetic blockages. Now, when we talk about time, we're going to talk about the next one, the Temperance card in the right side up position. This card is all about patience. It's a slowing down of energy. So maybe when I said it wasn't the right time for something here, it's like, yeah, let's just slow everything down for a minute. Let's be a little bit more patient. Let's try to balance things out a little bit. Okay, let's work on our emotions. Let's also have the proper balance between, excuse me, the 3D world, physical world, the table, yes, the alarm, sorry, the alarm, paying the bills, but then also have the unconscious, dream, creativity, spiritual side of things, okay? Because when we have that balance, then it also helps us with all relationships, right? Unions, partnerships, whether romantic, platonic, with friends or family, work partnerships, creative partnerships, union of different parts of yourself, right? Self-love, all those things are always going to flow better, right, when we have a little bit more patience and a little bit more balance there. Okay, now when this Four of Wands is also confirming that Devil card energy that showed up, right, that Capricorn energy, not saying Capricorns are devils. Some of my best friends are Capricorns, okay? It's just part of their energy, how it shows up in the tarot cards, okay? Because there's positive and negative to every card, right? So when this Four of Wands, anyway, is coming in here and confirming the Devil, okay, in the right side up position, it's basically saying if there was a self-sabotaging energy, if there was a choice, right? The Devil is always about choices and always can be reversed or worked on or taken back or fixed or whatever you want to call it, right? If there was some type of choice where there was an addiction to something or something was out of balance, okay, again, reach for those partnerships, those unions that can help you. So then you can have moments where there is a celebration, perhaps, okay? If you're invited to a party and you're in this mood, right, or you're going through these things, then the party isn't going to be as fun, right? So that's something to think about. Now, moving forward into your last tarot confirmation card, we have the Six of Swords in the right side up position. Now, it's going to come in here and confirm the same what we just did, but be a little bit different or added confirmation or layer there, okay? But when we have the Six of Swords in the right side up position, and again, this is more future, present, current energies or possibilities, right? There is progress here. There's somebody on, two people on a boat, right? They're moving, and might not be moving fast, but they're moving, all right? But there is still some type of anxiety, worry, or overthinking here with the swords going downwards in the downwards position, okay? And there's an energy for some of possibly trust issues or feeling betrayed because the person that's in the front of the boat has their back to the person that's steering. Maybe they don't trust how they're steering the boat or where they're steering the boat to, right? But there is a little bit of that energy could be present there, okay? So when it comes in here and it confirms the Sun in reverse again, the Temperance card right side up, and the Devil card right side up, right? It's basically saying, okay, accept the slower pace too. Remember, let's just start with Temperance, okay? She was saying slow down, get things more in balance, work on the emotions. So water in the tarot represents emotions, right? So even though there's progress here and there's emotions all around, if the emotions aren't understood or channeled in the right way, then there is going to be anxiety, worry, overthinking, issues of trust or betrayal. Okay, so maybe again the slower pace to something, or having more patience, or being more compassionate and empathetic is better, right? And then also when the Six of Swords is confirming the Sun in the reverse position, it's like, yes, if you're looking for more passion, creativity, youthful spirit, right, to something, or you're looking to have an enlightened moment or several enlightened moments, you want to be enlightened, you want to have spiritual downloads, revelations, I finally get it, that's what they were trying to say, or oh, now that makes more sense now. If you want that clarity and those emotions, again, try to look at things from maybe a different perspective, take the emotions out and look at it for just a moment. I know it's hard to do from a more logical standpoint. Even again, going back to what the other cards were saying, reach out to your support system or somebody or some kind of energy that can help you kind of look at it a little bit differently. Now, when the Six of Swords comes in here and it confirms the devil right side up, right, it's basically saying if there is, let me back up. Okay. Basically, I would say if there is a choice, right, because the devil card is all about choices. If there's a choice, you don't have to have this betrayal energy. You don't have to have a betrayal mindset. You don't have to have a lack of trust in yourself and in others or the process or whatever, because that's a choice. That's a mindset, right? That's a sword that you're going to just not be using. You want the mental clarity. You want the sword to be up. You want the sword to be a weapon and a tool, not just sticking down like that. That is useless, right? When your mind is like that, it's just like, it's not even working, like it's useless, okay? So it's always a choice. All right, so that is what I have for you regarding the tarot here at Taurus. But before you go, real quickly, we do have your oracle cards here as well. And hopefully there'll be a little bit more lighter energy and just a nice way to kind of end it here. Just making sure the music is on. All right. So your first oracle card is your love oracle message. Again, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I have to. Your love oracle message, whether you're watching for romantic partnerships or platonic partnerships with friends and family, work partnerships, what have you. Also, it could be partnerships of different parts of yourself coming together if you're working on self-love. Okay, so anyway, your love message, if it's one of those things or all those things, right? Your love message is, because there's different kinds of love, healing family issues. And it says your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. All right. So that's definitely pretty self-explanatory. When you get to a certain age, you maybe have more appreciation for your parents because you're like, oh, wow, they were only this age when they had me. And maybe you've exceeded that age or gotten close to that age. And you kind of say, oh, if I had kids at this age, how would it go down? Right? Something like that. Okay. So I know everybody's parents or childhood maybe wasn't the easiest, right? But there is just a way to also forgive them and let them know that they did their best, even if you don't tell them that, right? If you don't want to, but just understand it energetically, so then you can keep moving forward and let other forms of love flow in, more easily once you do this, okay? All right, and your last oracle message here is the Rumi or Remy Oracle deck, depending on how you pronounce it, by Elena Fairchild. And Rumi, that's how I pronounce it, right? He is, he was, he's still alive, y'all. His energy is still here. No, but he's been dead for a long time. He's a 13th century Persian poet, but he's one of my favorite. And so basically she has taken some of his poetry and paired it up with this artist here that she works with to make these really beautiful oracle cards, okay? So anyway, I'll read a little bit of the poem and just like 2 or 3 sentences of some type of meditation you can do to get into this energy if you want to. So anyway, your oracle message or card that you got this time, Taurus, is card number 4, and it's the Cloak of Christ. And you see this kind of like Jesus-like figure in the center there with a lot of energy waves. Almost looks like little hearts shapes coming out of it, okay? So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and let's see what it says here for the poetry. So it says, the Cloak of Christ. In the school of humanity, when you become intimate with God, you reside on King's throne and teach the angels the nature of the divine. My sacred brother, he who shares my heart and yours, beating as one in harmony with the great unending love, brings you the mantle of his protection. Do you imagine that there is any part of your life or your body or your soul that is outside the realm of his divine love and protection. Offer all to him, leave nothing cast aside. He and I together receive you absolutely without condition now. The compassion born out of your own struggles tempers the karmic weight of divine justice. Oh my God. Okay. Just that sentence right there. We're talking about compassion, empathy, patience, right? With the Temperance card. And then it says, I'm going to read it again. The compassion born out of your own struggles tempers the karmic weight of divine justice. Okay. We're talking about justice, judgment. Okay. Interesting. All right. Okay. Let me keep going though. Where were we? The compassion born of your own struggles and the karmic weight of divine justice. We have been through the same journey you are taking now, sweet divine soul, in oneness with the divine heart. We know of your efforts and your struggles. So what is bestowed upon you now is the restoration of forgiveness, of kindness, and of mercy. My sacred brother speaks to you now. He shall receive your darkness and your light, the angel of your heart and the demon of your fear. Nothing is greater than my brother's love for you. Nothing is greater than my holy passion for you. Take refuge under the cloak of Christ, the mantle of my sacred brother, and know that you are held in our loving sanctuary. All right, so that's beautiful. So yeah, when I see this card, I don't, take offense to it or take, it's like if you're not religious, like it's not, saying you have to necessarily believe in Christ, right? But just as if you've taken comparative religions or something like that, or you look at different philosophies and cultures and religions, you see that there is a takeaway from all of them that can resemble the others, right? Of being a good person, of not harming others and yourself, the basic, laws and all of that, right? So even if it's like you're not taking on necessarily the Christ thing, if that bothers you, right? It won't for everybody, but if it does bother you, just take that part out and look at him as, let's say, a person in history or a historical figure, right, that did certain things or was a manifestation of a certain type of energy. So anyway, with all that being said, here is the sacred honoring ritual to get into more of this energy. All right, so it says, open your arms wide above your head and tip your gaze gently up towards the heavens. If you are inside, imagine or intend that you can gaze beyond the physical structure of the ceiling right into the sky that lies above. Lower your arms to prayer position at your heart and say aloud, if possible, Rumi or Remy and Jesus Christ, who love me without condition, offer me the cloak of the Christ, the mantle of divine protection, now that I may receive the karmic grace and healing I need through the power and mercy of your presence. Thank you. And then it says, sit quietly and imagine you're surrounded by a dark, comforting cloak. Here, you can easily breathe through this cloak. You can easily see light within it or flickering through if need be. You can feel comfortable in the darkness. Interesting, I like that. Let it be whatever is most relaxing and soothing for you. You may even imagine it to be the night sky draped with stars wrapping around you. Close your eyes and relax now for as long as it feels good. That may be for a minute, for 15 minutes, or 20 minutes, or longer. Just be with that. Just be with what feels appropriate and best for you at this time. When you feel you're ready to arise from your rest, simply place your hands at your heart and say thank you. You may notice strong energetic sensations or emotions during this process or in the days following. You may notice repetitive thought patterns that you need to confront and challenge with more loving thoughts. You may have significant dreams in the evening following also. It may be very subtle for you, so much so that you may wonder if anything has happened or if it has worked. It has. The effect will be demonstrated at the right time, so trust. Okay. So yes, very interesting, and there's always, more that you can read online if you find you're interested about this card. Because I don't read everything here. You can just look up the Elena Fairchild Rumi or Remy Oracle deck and look for card number 4, the Cloak of Christ. Okay. All right. So that is your reading here, dear Taurus. Thank you guys so much, as always, for your energy, for your views, for your likes, for your shares, and for your subscriptions. I really do appreciate it. And all those things are great free ways to support the channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet and you want to, all you have to do is click on the bell icon on the bottom right over there somewhere, and just make sure that it's blue and it's active. And basically, it'll just notify you when I put out new videos. And also, too, if you want to see the photo, I will be posting it too in a few minutes. So all you have to do is click in the description box below and follow the instructions there if you want to see the photo. But yeah, other than that, you guys. And I'm going to take a little bit of a break and then come back hopefully with Aries. All right. See you guys later. Okay. Bye.